An Alice in Bible Land storybook. The story of David and Goliath. Written by Alice Joyce Davison. Illustrated by Victoria Marshall. A little girl named Alice liked to exercise and run, and to read a Bible story when every day was done. Alice liked to read about how faith will see us through, and how everything is possible when God is there with you. Of young David and the giant was the story Alice read, when an airmail bird delivered a little note which said, "Reading is the magic key that takes you where you want to be." The Bible storybook she had became a great big screen. Alice walked on through to Bible Land and came upon this scene. A shepherd boy named David could play the harp and sing. David's older brothers were soldiers for the king. David was too young to fight. He watched his father's sheep, then sang and played the harp to help King Saul of Israel sleep. King Saul was very worried. He couldn't sleep at night, since the soldiers of the Philistines were looking for a fight. Their champion was Goliath, a giant almost 10 feet tall. When he spoke, the Israelites would tremble, one and all. Goliath roared, "You Israelites, let our soldiers rest. Just send one man to fight me, to decide which army's best. And if your men can kill me, here's what we will do. We'll say you Israelites have won and will be slaves for you." But if I win this battle by being strong and clever, you Israelites will work for us and be our slaves forever. For 40 days he challenged the Israelites to fight. They looked up at the giant, and their hearts were filled with fright. One day, young David brought some food to help his brothers out. He heard the great big giant named Goliath roar and shout. David asked, "Why do you fear Goliath's shouts and fuss? We are all God's people. He'll take good care of us." Went before the king and said to him, "King Saul, I want to fight Goliath, who is almost 10 feet tall." At first, King Saul refused him. "You are but a shepherd boy. Goliath is a giant who can break you like a toy." But David answered, "I have killed a lion and a bear. Each tried to take away some sheep grazing in my care. My strength and courage came from God. He kept me safe back then. And then I fight Goliath. God will be with me again." At last King Saul said, "David, go. God keep you in his care, and for this brave deed that you do, my armor's yours to wear." But David didn't feel right in the armor of the king. Instead, he picked up 5 smooth stones and took his staff and sling. Goliath looked at David and gave a scornful laugh, for he thought David couldn't win with just a sling and staff. Goliath said, "Come closer. Come fight me if you dare, and I will feed you to the beasts and fowl that fill the air." Then David said, "You come to me with armor and javelin and spear, but I come in the name of God, and so I have no fear. The Lord my God will conquer you. He needs no spear or sword, and everyone who follows him will have a just reward." Goliath rushed at David. His shield and weapons shone. David took his sling out and loaded 1 smooth stone. David slung the little stone. It hit Goliath's head. It sunk into his forehead, and Goliath fell down dead. The armies of the Philistines decided not to stay. They knew that they had lost the war, so turned and ran away. The soldiers of the Israelites laughed and cheered with joy, for the Lord had won the battle with a stone and just 1 boy. King Saul was so delighted that the battle had been won. He took David to his palace to be treated as his son. Then Alice walked back through her screen. She thought of David's story and how his strength and courage came from faith in God's great glory. For size is not important when there's something big to do, for everything is possible when God is there with you. Thank you very much for watching.